Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus again. And today I got a fantastic message to give you. A message that's so wonderful that many of you will not believe it. A moment ago I was reflecting and studying and opening my spirit to receive from the unseen spirit of God. And I was given a message to give to you. This message is for everybody. For every human being alive on this planet. This message is from the Creator of all existence to you. Whether you're living in the United States of America, whether you're living in India, whether you're living in Africa, Haiti, whether you're living in the killing fields of Asia, this message is for you. The Lord God Almighty says, tell them that I created paradise, the earth, for human beings. In other words, the earth is paradise. You might not see it as that, you might not understand it as that, but that's what it truly is. Now, the reason that you don't see it as that, you'll probably get it out of this. Now, what does God mean when he said he created paradise? God says that you are to know that everything that you have, wherever you are, is from God. God made all that is above the earth, on the earth, in the earth, seen, unseen, everything that the earth produces, everything that the earth births up, comes from God. The ability to extract from these that God has given comes from God. That ability comes from God through people. Again, the ability comes from God through people. And God has given every individual who has come into this earth healthy something to do, something to participate, a role to play. Some people call it jobs, some people call it careers, some people call it playtime. Depends on how you see it. And everybody on this planet is supposed to be experiencing paradise right now. But you're not. Now your next question is, why aren't you? You want to say the devil is doing it? No, it's not the devil. I mean, if you're talking about some mystical figure or something, you know what we talk about when y'all talk about devils. That's not the problem. The problem, my friends, I hope you see it. Many of you heard of Madoff and the scams that Madoff pulled. You've heard of other scammers. Some of them called Mafia. Some of them called gangbangers. Some of them called IRS. Some of them called bankers. Some of them called Federal Reserve. But all of these can only operate because of your permission. You give them the authority to do this. Now, you might say that there are reasons that you give them authority to run this Ponzi scheme on you. If you don't, what will they do? They will, because you allow them to, put you in jail, take everything you got, expose all of your dirty laundry before the world, and they will kill you. All of these things will happen to free people who have been freed by truth. So, when you see people in Haiti as they were also in New Orleans during Katrina. When you see people on the corner streets of Chicago, of California, of New York, of Minnesota, of Mississippi, with a sign saying, I'm hungry, can you help me? They are there because they have been robbed more than you. Some say it's the government. Yeah, it's the government, but empowered by you. I want to tell you once again, God says that this is paradise, and you are supposed to be experiencing the benefits of paradise. Hold on a minute. Hello. Yeah. Well, I'm not doing too good. I'm preaching right now. You just interrupted me. So I'm going to let you go. Call back later. The reason, my friends, is because you allowed it. Once again, if you got nothing, it ain't on God. This earth is paradise. You don't see it because you don't permit it. People have come up with statutes. They've come up with codes. They've done everything they possibly can. But ladies and gentlemen, here's the key. Listen good. Everything comes from God. The materials, the ideas, the needs, the wants, the desires, the labor, everything comes from God. And when it's put together, everybody experiences paradise. You might say, well, how you going to pay for it? With your labor. Everybody got a job. Some people dig ditches. Some people design buildings. Some people do horticulture. Some people do food. Some people raise animals. Some people train animals. Some people sing. Some people dance. Some people laugh. Some people tell jokes. Some people play piano. Some people create lights and Christmas lights and cut the lawn real good. All of these different things are essential in paradise. People do them. People do them. They say, well, if, and I've told you 1,000 times, the big problem is money. Money is the big tool. Money is that bait that tricks you, that allows that Ponzi scheme to keep rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling. And now you might say, well, how do I get a house? How do I get a couch? How do I get gas? The same way you get it now. You say, well, I pay for it. You pay for it, that's a scam. Your working is paying for it. If you got a job, if you got a career, if you got something that you do to contribute in this process of being alive on earth, it entitles you to everything that every individual needs to survive in this earth. And in such an abundance and free time and everything that's open to you that you can do monumental. I can't describe the things that God has, that you and all of us can do in our spare time. You say we're looking at mechanics, computers, and other things taking over the workforce. That's from God. Well, it's not being used for God's purposes. It's being used by the enemy's purpose. Who's the enemy? The ones, the gangsters, the mob, the bankers, the IRS, the forms of government that you have accepted. The kings, the queens, the popes, the preachers. These are the people that's robbing you. These are the people that set it up. You say, well, if there's no money, how are we going to have highways? How are we going to have bridges? How are we going to have the lakes? How do you have it now? The people do it. You say, well, they wouldn't do it without money. Well, let me ask you something. What do you do with money? You buy a car. You buy a house. Now, you think it's legitimate now, don't you? Because you went and worked hard. You became a slave. Well, let me tell you something what becoming a slave did to you. Everything that you need, God has already prepared. And you're entitled to it. But when you go out there, call yourself working, catching that bait, so you can pie some other kind of way, You are being robbed as a slave to pay for what God has already given you free. So you want a house. You didn't know how to stand up as people and receive houses. So you let somebody told you work for me, I give you some money, and you can buy a house. No, ladies and gentlemen, that's a scam. Now you're working as a slave, giving somebody else money for what God has already given you, which in essence gives them control over you. Give them control over you. You think a dentist would not be a dentist if they didn't get money? Only thing a dentist wants are those things that's necessary for survival and desires and wants. That's all a dentist wants. That's all a doctor wants. That's all a teacher wants. That's all a baseball player wants. That's all a football player wants. That's all a woman wants. That's all a man wants. That's all an old person wants. That's all a young person wants. But it doesn't take money to get it. The only reason money is in the picture because it's a Ponzi scheme set up by people who want to control you. You say, well, okay, I tell you these things. Now, what are you supposed to do about it? That's up to you. I'll be honest with you. Right now, they got things going where they're trying to alert people that if you got a birth certificate, a social security card, whatever, that you can charge or have these extenuating powers pay your debts. Now, how many people know that or how to work that? People don't even know what taxes are about, really. They just pay them because it's already set up. The way to stop it is to stop yielding to it. Just quit it. Now, it has gone on for so long that the systems, the mafia, when a person doesn't, when they come back and try to scam you out of some of your money to pay for protection and you don't give it to them, what do? They destroy your property. They destroy your property. The mob, gangbangers, they come and do the same thing. You don't give up. What do? They tear your stuff up. What does the IRS do when you ignore them? They come and take your stuff. Send the sheriff by, take your stuff. It's the same game. You get mad with the mob. You get mad with the gangster. You even get mad at the IRS. But you go and bend anyway. Why? Because they've convinced you. They've used mind control over you. They use programming over you to make you think that these things you got to do. And it seems to have been going on since the beginning of time. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to stop, but it's not going to stop a little here and a little there. You're going to say you have to work our way into it. It's going to stop just like that. Because there will come a time that these people that would abuse you, that will rob you, trying to control you, are going to be stopped. They're going to be stopped not by some miraculous God coming out of the sky, but by a God that's in the people that's going to rise up and say no more. Now, will a lot of people have to die between then and the time that it stops? I don't know. That's up to you. But I tell you what, every free man who knows the truth will stop it as soon as they know it. Now, me, myself, I stopped it a long time ago. And if I didn't know it then, I'd stop it right now, except for one thing. I got a family. They don't know what I know. They're not listening to me. They've been in school. They've been educated by the system. Just like you. You've been educated by the system. Your folks have been educated by the system. And all these things that you have been told as far as your education go, you believe. You believe black folks only have been slaves. You believe that. You don't believe black folks are humans and really got some purpose and all of that. No, you don't believe that because the books didn't tell you that. The books did not tell you that. They didn't tell you that in 1871, this America of the United States became a corporation because of D.C. and we the people became what? I'm trying to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, just to make you think. Some of you are much more educated than I am. Thank God. You can go do some research. You might find the answers if you're not too educated. God says simply, I created paradise for human beings. I put human beings in it, qualified them to all the stuff that I didn't manifest because I don't know what you want. They say I do, but I don't. And I don't know when you want it, but you do. And that's when you get it. Plain and simple as daylight. But you got people sleeping on the streets, sleeping on the bridges. You got people saying we're in debt. You got people borrowing trillions of dollars. You got people saying I can change this because I'm a better leader than he. I'm a better leader than she. All these kinds of lies that are being perpetrated on you, and you're buying into every last one of them. But this is one truth. The earth belongs to God, and so do you. All of the things that you make come from the ideas of God through you, and they are yours. But you would rather believe that it doesn't. You would rather believe the things that you have accepted. But I want you to know this, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't know it would take me 15 to 16 minutes to say it. The earth was created as paradise. And all human beings on the face of the earth, every gender, every nationality, every shade, was to enjoy it too. It didn't matter whether it was Adam and Eve or one man, well, Adam and Eve, or 10 billion people. You got folks right now trying to control you, and they need a little bit more relief. So they're talking about population control. They're talking about killing billions of you, starting more wars. All of these things, ladies and gentlemen. Do you know there will never be a war if men who had not been brainwashed and mind controlled picked up a gun and went fought it? There would never be a war. But they have been so programmed that they'll pick up a gun, putting their own lives on the line, killing other people because somebody got you thinking that you're protecting something. You are protecting them, and you are defying God. Now, I don't care who you are. Today I'm talking to you, and I don't care who you are. The message that I just got, I'm speaking to the world. You can be the Pope. Let's see, whatever highest authority you think on earth that's connected to God, if you're not taking this message forward that God has just shared with me, you are a tool of Satan. You don't know it. You do not.